Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenons. So before we jump in, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because that would mean the whole world to me. And after this video, if you liked it, hit the like button too. Alright, let's jump in. We don't want to play with you anymore. But why? We are friends, are we not? Friends? Who said that? You did. We were friends until you stopped sharing your toys. But but that is because you still haven't. What? You haven't returned the toys I gave you. Return them? You gave them to us. No, I did not. Let's go play with our real friends. Yeah, our real friends aren't selfish. I warned you, dearest one. Didn't I tell you? People will only hurt you in the end. That's why I forbade you from playing with those children. I only ever want what's best for you. I'm sorry, Mother. I'm so sorry. Hush now, dearest one. Mother won't let anyone hurt you any more. Yee. Chapter 4, Family. Yeesh. 3 weeks have passed since my encounter with the king. I am once again in town with Waltz as he prepares for one of his shows. I have already lost count of how many of his shows I have watched at this point. The excursions have become part of my daily routine. Waltz has been insistent on training me as his assistant, so I have decided to play along. Even now I am helping him construct his booth, even though he refuses to let me carry anything too heavy. I have experienced so many new things these past few months, things I'd always wanted to experience but had never told anyone about. Somehow, Waltz knew about all of them. Well, that's probably because you told him while you were little. Even when he told me that we were childhood friends and insisted that my memories of him had been erased, I hadn't believed him. But now, I am beginning to believe that he is telling the truth about this forgotten friendship. Walt smiles at me from where he is assembling the front of the booth. You used to dream about getting out of the palace to see Angielle. And now you're here. You can't imagine how happy I am that I can finally fulfill all the promises I made to you. I still have reservations about believing your story, but... Waltz, even if you did know me a long time ago, I am not the same. I hand him the small curtains for the booth, my head dipped so that I do not have to look him in the eyes. I am not the child you used to know. I know that. But I also believe that the girl that I knew all those years ago, the one who was always so happy over the smallest things, that kind, sincere girl, she's still you. How can that be when I don't think I've ever truly known what happiness feels like? After Waltz hangs the curtains, the booth is complete. I expect him to step out from the side as he always does, but he sets his palms down on the table instead and looks at me. When I saw you again that day, I was so happy. I thought fate had brought you back to me. Waltz's voice is very soft when he speaks. But then, you still didn't recognize me. Waltz's voice trails off and I frown. There are still so many things he is not telling me. Eventually, Waltz picks up his box of puppets and smiles at me brightly. Anyway, I've got a show to perform. Don't go anywhere. I notice that his smile does not reach his eyes as I watch him walk away. I look out at the crowd that has gathered for the show. There are a lot of families here today. I watch as two families approach each other. The adults begin to converse with each other while the kids run up to the front of the crowd to catch a better glimpse of the show. Some of the children have shoes, but the parents are barefoot. All their clothes are dirty and torn. Their lives are clearly hard, but they are still smiling. I have never been in desperate need of clothes or food. I have never had to work for anything. I should have been happier than these people when I was a princess. But now, I am beginning to see that the material things that I had were never enough to buy me true happiness. Hello, everyone. I take a step off to the side as Waltz begins the show. Waltz weaves his stories as seamlessly as he always does, captivating his audience with every word. But I am not paying attention. My focus is locked on the two families standing near me. When I see these people, I cannot help but wonder, what kind of life have I been leading? Waltz's show was a success yet again. He is smiling from ear to ear as he counts the coins he earned as a reward for his good performance. You look happier than usual. I am. I've been saving money for a special toy, and now I can finally buy it. He says he does not like to be treated like a child, but he gets so excited whenever he mentions a new toy. I pause at the sound of laughter and look up to see a group of children talking excitedly to each other as they approach Waltz and I. This might be an opportunity. An opportunity? Making these children happy might be a good deed. What? Waltz ignores me as he jogs up to the children. Waltz! The group of children swarm him, talking loudly as they each try to cling to him in some manner. We've been waiting forever for you to come back. But I was here a couple days ago. But you didn't have time to play. Can we play now? Please, please, please? We've been good just like you told us. The boy looks around at the group of children and they all nod their heads with eager agreement. Well, if you've been good as you say, how can I say no? The children cheer. I'm going to start counting now. Come on! He won't find us this time. The children disperse around the area. I watch them go with disinterest. That's your cue to hide, princess. What? Why do I need to take part in this? You don't want to play? But we used to play hide and seek all the time. I am fairly certain I've never played a game like this with anyone before. Is this another memory that was taken from me? Big sister, play with us! A little girl runs up to me and begins to pull me along with her. Hey! I look at Waltz, but he only smiles at me. It seems like I don't really have a choice. Waltz turns to face a wall. He covers his eyes and begins to count. Before I can react, the little girl has let go of me and is running off. What is going on? I turn and see a boy hiding behind a barrel. You have to hide before he finishes counting. They didn't even explain the rules of this game. How was I supposed to know what to do? I look around to find the places that I might hide. Maybe behind the tree? Behind the fountain would also work. Or those wooden crates. Which of these places should I hide in? Behind the wooden crates. Ready or not, here I come. I can't believe I'm sitting on the dirt to avoid being seen. My dress is getting soiled because of a children's game. Found you! My heart begins to race as I turn to look at him, but I realize that Waltz has found one of the children. Oh! It wasn't me. Wait, why am I worried about being found? Got you! Every so often I hear Waltz proclaim that he's found someone, but he still hasn't found me. Do I get something if I win this game? You still haven't found Big Sister yet. You're right, where could she be hiding? This is quickly becoming boring. Found you! I jump when I hear Waltz's voice behind me. He looks down at me in triumph. You won, princess. I won? Looks like you're an expert at this game. I am not. You just did not look hard enough. That doesn't change the fact that you still won the game. You should be happy. Great job, princess. Waltz pats me on the back and smiles once again before he turns his attention back to the children. He is right. His praise makes me feel strangely happy. Why? Right, everyone, that's it. The children begin to whine, clearly disappointed. We only played one round. Now, don't be like that. I promise to play another game with everyone soon. Now run along. I'm sure your parents are looking for all of you. One of the children, a little girl, tugs on my sleeve. Thank you for playing with us, Big Sister. Please come again. She smiles up at me before skipping away to join the rest of the children. All the children head off together back toward the residential area of the town. They like you. How do you know that? Didn't you see how happy they were when you joined in? Children are so easy to please. That's why I envy them. Adults aren't like children. They worry too much and don't appreciate the small joys in life. As we grow up, we forget how to be happy. Forget how to be happy? Waltz may be right about that. When I was younger, my dolls brought me so much joy, but now... Anyway, since you won, you deserve a treat. A treat? You'll like it, I promise. I sit on a wooden bench, waiting for Waltz to return. He said it would be easier for him to go alone because he wanted to surprise me. I did not protest. I have been on my feet all day. I never thought I would be running around playing with children. I wonder what this treat is going to be. Every time we come to the plaza, it is always packed with people. Most of the popular shops are clustered in this area. I observe the town quietly before my eyes land on the statue of the king. He looks noble, riding a rearing stallion. The sight makes my heart twist uncomfortably. I am pulled out of my thoughts when a child trips and falls in front of me. He begins to cry. Should I do something? But before I can react, a man and a woman are there pulling the child up. The man takes the child in his arms and the woman rubs his back. There, my love. Mama and Papa are here now. I watch as they slowly walk away. The mother is still crooning to her child. Mother would always get angry at me if I was about to cry. I wonder what it's like to be comforted like that. Sorry to keep you waiting. Are you okay? I keep the family in sight for as long as I can before turning to Waltz. I am fine. Here. Aw. What is this? A candied apple. A long time ago I promised that I would bring you one, but I wasn't able to keep that promise. That's why I'm fulfilling it now. I do not recall such a promise. I twirl the candy, inspecting its glazed and shiny appearance. I didn't know you could make an apple look like this. I promise there are no poison apples here. These ones are just sweet. I sniff at the candy. Sweet. I take a small bite. Well, I become so immersed in my taste test that I do not even hear Waltz. The candied apple tastes nothing like I have ever tried before. This is good. I take another, bigger bite. Is that a smile I see, Princess? What? I wasn't smiling at all, was I? When I get some extra money from my shows, I'll make sure to treat you again. I have lots of favorites to show you. There are more desserts like this? Of course. I'll make sure you try all of them. Walt stands, then moves over to a trash bin so that he can dispose of his finished apple. It's getting late. Let's go back to the margin. Oh, he's so sweet. Oh my God! The next few weeks become a blur. I continue to help out in the tavern while sometimes accompanying Waltz for his shows. Though Waltz continues his lessons on goodness, I have yet to gain a single good deed. I am slowly starting to lose hope. It has been months since I was cursed, and I still have yet to complete a single good deed. Today, I have been assigned the task of serving marching customers. I honestly prefer my duties with Mr. Broom. At least I do not have to mingle with all these people. I have only just entered the tavern when I freeze at the sight of a familiar face. Fritz! His posture is stiff, his arms are crossed, and he is obviously uncomfortable. What is he doing here? How did he get in here? I walk toward him, but do not get far before he is in front of me, down on one knee with his head bowed. I finally found you, Your Highness. How does he remember me? How did he find me? Fritz. Princess, I have no idea what is happening, but the whole kingdom. Everyone has completely forgotten you and... Let us go somewhere else to talk. I interrupt Fritz when I notice all of the stares around the room. Not so fast. Seemingly from nowhere, Jurian and Garland are in front of me, separating me from Fritz. Lady Jurian, Sir Garland? I was told you left NGL. What are you two doing here? I could ask you the same, Sir Fitzgerald. What are you doing here? Fritz is at a loss for words as he stares at Jurian, confused. Answer the question, Sir Fitzgerald. What are you doing here? I am quickly reaching the end of my patience. Just let me talk to him. Neither Jurian nor Garland look down or back down. If anything, they only look more ready to draw their swords. I don't trust him. As I look at the three of them, I remember the story of Jurian and Garland's dismissal from the Order of Caldera. Sir Alcaster was the one that dismissed them, so perhaps they hold some sort of type of grudge. Is it because Fritz is Sir Alcaster's son? I do not know why you do not trust Sir Alcaster, but Fritz is a completely different person. He is my knight. He would never harm me. We have our reasons for doing this, Princess. I sigh, rubbing my forehead with my hand to try and dispel an impending headache. I swear, you lot are like a bed of snakes. Stop hissing at each other. Delora walks in from behind me, swatting at Jurian and Garland to move them. She smiles at Fritz before turning to beam that same smile at Jurian and Garland. If you are so concerned, then feel free to chaperone the princess with her knight. I'm sure the two of you can handle it if he tries to do something funny. Fritz's voice is quiet when he speaks. You know I would never hurt her. Fine. I glare at Jurian and Garland when we are in the reception room. Thankfully, they take the hint and retreat to the opposite wall, far enough to give Fritz and I some privacy. Fritz speaks as soon as I sink into a chair. I haven't seen you in 4 months, Princess. It's been that long already? Did you know how worried I was when I woke up one day and realized that Princess Melanie was in your place? To make things worse, no one remembered you. Not even the king. When I brought up Crown Princess Melody, everyone thought I was delusional. Where do I even begin? I decide to start with the facts of my curse and how I am meant to break it. So you have the Cinderella curse, and that's the reason you've remained in the margin? Yes. And you need to complete 3 good deeds to break it. That is right. And how many good deeds have you accomplished, if you don't mind me asking? I frown as I shake my head. None! I do not think I am capable of doing good. Of course you are. I look up in surprise at Fritz's impassioned declaration. Let me start with this. I knew even when we first met that I was not what you were expecting. I wouldn't be surprised to know that I even disappointed you now, that I disappointed you. But you never said a word of complaint, even in the beginning when I made lots of mistakes. And we both know how clumsy I was in the beginning. There is kindness in you, Princess. I know this for a fact. Even when I look away, I could still feel Fritz's eyes and smile directed at me. Anyway, so if everyone has forgotten who you are, how is it that I could still remember you? There is only one reason that makes any sense, though it brings up more questions than answers. Those who have the fairy tale curse are not affected by the conditions of another person's curse. Wait, are you saying that I'm cursed? Unless you are secretly a witch or a fairy. No, I'm definitely human, I can assure you of that. What about Lady Jurian and Sir Garland? Jurian speaks up from her corner of the room. Though the knights have been feigning disinterest, there is no doubt that they are listening in on our conversation. We aren't cursed, but unfortunately, we don't remember Princess Melody being, well, Crown Princess. We only found out when she came here. I see. Fritz's distress is apparent as he looks grimly down at the floor. He hasn't admitted to having the curse, which means that he either does not know he has it or refuses to tell me. I can't believe this. How could I have a fairy tale curse and not know about it? Have there been no difference in your life lately? I suppose I've been more forgetful lately. Does that count? You've always been forgetful. I know. Fritz's posture stiffens as Jurian walks towards us from the other end of the room. Her arms are crossed and her gaze, directed at Fritz, is filled with suspicion. How were you able to find this place? Fritz looks back at me, as if asking permission, and I nod. I've been dispatching scouts throughout Angiel to look for the princess ever since she disappeared. A girl matching her description was seen in this area, entering this house. When my scouts entered the place, they found it empty and abandoned. I figured that this was a good place as any to start looking for traces of her. Though I was expecting an empty house, not a tavern full of people. Only those with the curse or certain permitted people such as Jurian and myself can enter this place and see it for what it is. So I really am cursed then? Fritz is silent for a few moments as he considers what was just said to him. That does explain things, though not as much as I'd like. Fritz stands. I still have many questions to ask, but I am expected back at the palace. Fritz turns to look at Jurian and Garland. I don't know why the two of you are here, but I'm glad that you are. I know I can trust you to keep the princess safe. Please take care of her. You don't have to tell us twice. Fritz smiles in reply before turning once more to bow to me. Until we see each other again, princess. A week goes by after Fritz leaves the tavern, and my luck does not change. I am still unable to complete a single good deed. I want to ask Parfait if she knows anything about Fritz and his curse, but she's been absent from the tavern for more than a week. When I asked Delora why Parfait was missing, all the witch said was that Parfait was busy dealing with the rapid spread of the fairy tale curse. Today, I am accompanying WALTZ'S to the toy shop to buy materials for his upcoming show. But now I cannot find him. He was by these shelves earlier. Where has he gone? I turn a corner and my gaze is caught once more by the dolls on display. One particular doll catches my eye and I cannot help but marvel at its beauty. If only I had enough money to buy you. I notice a man standing just to the right, in front of the teddy bear display shelf. Oh, one of my kitties is playing with one of the mouse toys on his tree. Isn't that the father I saw with his daughter a few weeks ago? He is looking at the teddy bear that his daughter wanted, the one he did not have enough money to buy. I watch as he opens one of his clenched hands. There are some gold coins on his palm. I glimpsed the price tags of the teddy bears earlier, and I'm certain that the man does not have enough money to afford the one he is eyeing. I thought I'd saved enough by now. Now what do I get her for her birthday? The man heads for the next shelf over. He raises a hand to rub at the back of his neck. I walk over and pick up the bear the man was just looking at. It is very soft and somehow comforting to hold. I can see why the girl liked this one. I begin to move toward the counter without realizing. I hold the teddy bear with me with one hand and reach for the bag of coins with my other. The king gave me this money all those months ago, but I never used it. If I buy this bear, I will be completely broke. Miss? Could you wrap this for me? Of course. After she was finished wrapping the bear, I turned to search for the father. It seems he is no longer in the shop. Has he left? Wow, that's a big toy you got there. Waltz appears with a bright smile on his face. He leans forward to inspect the package I'm holding. I need to find him. Who? I'm sure he hasn't gone too far yet. Hey, wait! Where is he? Princess, what are you doing? Or where are you going? Sorry, we're gonna explain. There's someone I need to find. Did you happen to see the man eyeing the large teddy bear earlier? I think I caught a glimpse of him. Why? We need to find that man. I must give this to him. I am about to run off into the crowd when I feel WALTZ'S hand on my sleeve. I turn to snap impatiently at him, but find my annoyance dying at the expression on his face. Look, I'm not entirely sure of what's happening, but I'll help you. But you have to stay with me. We shouldn't be separated in this crowd. Fine. WALTZ keeps his pace with me as I almost break into a run. It will be difficult to find that man with all these people around. But we should at least try. WALTZ and I search for hours, but we never find him. I do not even know his name. We could try again tomorrow. It's going to be dark soon. But it's her birthday. Who? I ignore WALTZ. In the brief second that I close my eyes, I can see the man's pained expression in my mind. I sit down on a bench and clutch the wrapped bear to my chest. He wanted to buy this bear for his daughter's birthday, because he loves her. A familiar ache flares up in my chest. I have spent my whole life wanting the king to treat me the same way that man treats his daughter. Melody. I promise you, we'll look again first thing in the morning. WALTZ and I head back to the Marchen, but the weight in my chest slows me down. It's not like you to be this sad for a stranger. You've changed. Have I? Welcome home, Papa! The girl's voice is familiar. I whirl on my heels and stare at the little girl in the doorway of one of the homes. I thought we were too late, but... We found them! The little girl runs from her home to wrap her arms around her father, who picks her up and pulls her into a tight hug. I'm sorry I'm late, sweetheart. But you're here now. Mama, Papa is here. We can start my birthday party now. The girl wiggles out of her father's embrace and runs back into the house excitedly. The man is carrying a small box in his hand, wrapped neatly with a ribbon. He looks down at his gift and sighs. Before he can go inside the home, I walk toward him and tap him on the shoulder. Excuse me. You were in the toy shop earlier. I was. We have been looking everywhere for you. For me? He looks first at me, then at the package I carry in my arms. Can I help you with something, miss? I heard that it was your daughter's birthday today. She's turning 7 today, but why? Here! This is for your daughter. This is the toy you wanted to buy for her. Take it. No, I can't possibly. Just take it. The man seems to be in too much shock to reach out for the teddy bear. He shakes his head in wonder. You don't even know who we are. Why would you do something like this? I have been asking myself that all day. You love your daughter very much, don't you? She is my life. She and my wife. But I cannot pay you for this. Papa, why are you taking so long? The girl is suddenly at the door again, her wide eyes staring right at me. Who are you? The little girl clings to her father's legs. She looks curious, but not afraid. I do not know what to say. This pretty lady here is your fairy godmother, little one. I turn to glare at WALTZ. What is he playing at? Fairy godmother like the one in Cinderella? Yes. I shoot WALTZ another warning look, but he only grins at me. She's come to fulfill your birthday wish. Isn't that right, my lady? We're gonna play along, of course. It is her birthday. I might as well play along. Yes, I am. Really? WALTZ nudges me toward the little girl. I glare at him before I kneel down and hold the wrapped teddy bear out to her. What does WALTZ usually say to children when he gives them gifts? Oh, you have been a very good girl. This is for you. The girl reaches out and takes the bear. Her eyes light up as she stares at it. Is this the teddy bear? I nod and the little girl squeals, twirling around with the wrapped teddy bear tight in her arms. Then suddenly she puts the bear down and throws her arms around my neck. Thank you! Thank you for granting my wish, Miss Fairy Godmother! I am too shocked to react. Mama, Mama, look what my fairy godmother brought me! I can only stare as the little girl runs back into her house with the gift. Thank you. I glance at the man, who, much to my surprise, has tears running down his cheeks. He is still somehow smiling through them. I will never forget your kindness. He dips into a short bow, then disappears into his home. Yay, our first piece! This is a piece of the glass slipper! Your first good deed. I stare in disbelief at the hovering piece in my hand. Sorry. One moment it is there. The next, it has been swallowed by a bright light and is joined with my pendant. I cannot believe it. Waltz, Waltz, look! But Waltz is not looking at my new pendant. He is looking at my face, his gaze enraptured. What are you looking at? You just smiled. I did? It's as beautiful as I remember. I feel slightly embarrassed and have no words as I quickly turn my head away. I'm glad that you decided to play along with my story. You made her birthday extra special by making her believe that you were her own fairy godmother. That no matter how tough things are, every child has someone watching over them so long as they're good. My eyes are still on the slipper when I hear an unfamiliar voice behind us. Cinderella's glass slipper, huh? We both turn around to... Oh, whoops, I guess it was a man. We both turn around to stare at a man standing a few feet from us. Oh no, I think I know who this is! He is cloaked in darkness, but I can still make out his grin. Yup. Hello, princess. Oh boy! Chapter 5, To Protect. The man starts walking towards us slowly. Waltz moves his hand in front of me. Princess, stay close to me. Good evening, Princess Melody. And a good evening to you, too, Peter Pan. The man drops into an elegant bow. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Varj. What do you want, Varj? How do you know who we are? I love to stay and chat, but I have more important things to do. The princess is coming with me. Varj takes one long stride toward us. He taps the cane he is holding onto the ground. A surge of light emanates from the cane, then flares out towards us. Princess, go back to the march and hurry! Waltz darts toward Varj before I could stop him. Varj raises his cane and twists it in one sharp movement. The light abruptly changes direction and slams into Waltz's side, throwing him some distance away. Waltz! Before I could step away, Varj has lifted me into his arms. He grins at me, almost wolfishly, before darting away from Waltz. No! Princess! Let me go! No can do, princess. I let you go and things will get messy. What do you want from me? Are you a... I cannot even say the word. My blood runs cold as I consider the situation. Are you a witch? That I am not. And you expect me to believe you? You just used magic back there. I guess I did. Let me go! I squirm in his arms, attempting to kick and push him away from me. Varj abruptly stops with a grunt to let me down. This is my chance! I start to bolt away from him, but he quickly grabs my wrist and pulls me back. Not so fast. Get your hands off of me! I'm not here to hurt you, princess. After what you did to Waltz? He leans in toward me until he can look me in the eyes. Well, he was in the way. Besides, it's not like I killed him. Varj begins walking again, this time pulling me with him. I try to break away from his iron grip but fail. Where are you taking me? Back to where you truly belong. If there's one thing I've learned from the fairy tales, it's that a princess belongs in a palace. I am unable to stop the gasp that leaves my lips. He stops and turns to me. You've been away from home for far too long, princess. Don't you want to go back? I do want to go home, but I am not welcome there anymore, at least not while I am still cursed. Release her! Ooh, Varge releases me just in time to block a sword strike that comes out of the darkness of the trees. Who dis? Oh! How annoying. I could say the same thing about you. I back away as the two trade blows. Varge uses his cane to defend himself against the man that just emerged from the trees. That man? He's the one who was with Waltz, the man with the sword that helped save me from the bandits all those months ago. There is something graceful in the way the man moves as he swings his sword at Varge. He almost looks like he is dancing. The stranger continues swiping the sword, eventually gaining enough leverage to force Varge back. He moves so quickly that it takes all of Varge's reflexes simply to block his slashes. They're so fast! Varge takes a few steps back and keeps a safe distance from the stranger. Impressive. The man gives Varge a lopsided smile as he points a sword at him, the two of them temporarily frozen as they each wait for the other to move first. You're not too bad yourself. Wait, is that? Now that he has stopped and I have a better look at him, I can see that the stranger's features are uncannily similar to Karma's. Karma? But is it really him? Princess, are you okay? I turned my head to see Waltz and Delora rushing toward me. How did you find me? Delora used her magic to track you down. Thankfully no other witches beat us here. Waltz halts in front of me while Delora advances toward the two men. So, what do we have here? Delora, right? Can't say that it's a pleasure to meet you. I have to compliment you all. You did an impressive job hiding the princess from us. It took a while to finally track her down. Finding your so-called tavern was difficult, you know, but I got lucky. How does he know about the tavern? No sooner are the words out of Varge's mouth that the swordsman is suddenly upon him again, posed to attack. Varge blocks his sword a second too late and is forced to back away, clutching his now bloody arm. You talk too much. Sorry, I shouldn't have forgotten my manners in front of royalty. Varge's gaze turns to Delora, a smirk somehow still on his face despite his injury. You have quite an interesting bunch with you, witch. How about joining us instead? We could always use more witches like yourself. Thanks, but no thanks. Too bad. Varge turns to look at me. He holds out a hand and gestures me toward him. Come with me, princess. You know you don't belong here. I clench my hands into fists as I shake my head. Your mother won't be very happy with your decision, princess, especially after all she's done to make sure you'll be a suitable heir. Mother? What are you talking about? But Varge ignores me as he raises his cane. Sorry to leave the party so quickly, but I'll be back soon enough for you, princess. Next time, whether you like it or not, you'll be coming with me. I'm not done with you! Delora throws her hands out, beginning to gather light in her palms, but Varge has already brought his cane down on the ground. Thick smoke envelops the area, making my eyes water. When the smoke clears, Varge is gone. Delora huffs in annoyance as she lowers her arms back down to her sides. To think that those witches are using a human to do their dirty work. What was that cane he was carrying? I look up at the stranger, who has sheathed his sword and is walking towards where Waltz, Delora, and I are standing. It's an enchanted item. That cane has been infused with a spell that allows Varge to use magic. Limited magic, but powerful enough to make him dangerous. Well, it is far easier for a human to explore the kingdom without anyone getting suspicious. The stranger stands close enough for me to get a proper look at his face. I can no longer deny the resemblance I saw earlier. Karma, is that really you? You have good eyes, darling. So this is what Karma looks like as a man. Why does he need to disguise himself as a woman? I open my mouth to ask the question when I am interrupted by WALTZ'S hand on my shoulder. Are you hurt anywhere? I turn to WALTZ and freeze when I notice the dried blood on his forehead. You are bleeding! I'll be fine. I step back and realize that WALTZ is standing oddly, favoring one leg to the other. Varge must have hurt him badly. You shouldn't have come here. I had to. It's my fault Varge got to you in the first place. WALTZ forces a smile, but I can see the sadness in his eyes. I couldn't protect you at all. I'm so sorry. Why do you keep worrying about me? I'm not even hurt. What if something happens to you? WALTZ smiles. He tries with great effort to mask his pain. I'm happy that you're worried about me, Princess. It doesn't matter what happens to me so long as you aren't hurt. How can you say that? WALTZ's expression suddenly twists as he doubles over, his eyes glazed in pain. WALTZ! Delora catches one of WALTZ's arms, supporting him as she turns to address both Karma and I. We should return to the margin. Rumple needs to see to WALTZ's injuries. Rumple? I'll explain everything once we're back. Delora calls for Rumple as soon as we arrive at the margin. When Rumple enters the reception area, he is clearly distraught by WALTZ's injuries. What happened? He'll first explain later. I expect Rumple to object and am surprised when he does nothing more than nod. Carefully, Rumple leads WALTZ back to his room so he can be treated. Delora looks in the direction Rumple and WALTZ have gone with a thoughtful look on her face. We're lucky that we have Rumple here with us. Anise is good with herbs and small wounds, but Rumple has experience with more serious injuries. Experience? What are you talking about? Remember his curse? Rumple is not the only one who does not remember who he is. None of the townsfolk remember his name either. But what about those with the curse? Shouldn't they at least still be able to remember his name? Rumple is an exception to the rule, as he is with many things. In his case, not a single person can remember his name. Funny thing is, they can still recognize him. He ran into someone who called him a doctor today. Even just hearing it brought a memory back. He's gotten one of the chapters in his journal back now. He is quite the proficient doctor. He collects his journal pages by retrieving memories from others that still remember him? What a strange curse. My eyes wander around the reception area, and I notice that someone is missing. Where's Karma? Don't worry about him. He's probably changing now. I do not understand why Karma is so secretive about his reasons for wearing a disguise. I'm about to ask Delora if she knows any of the specifics of Karma's curse when the door to the reception area is thrown open. Princess! I am surprised when Anise suddenly throws her arms around me. She pulls me into a tight hug. I was so worried about you. Thank goodness you're safe. She pulls away and begins to wipe at tears that have sprung to her eyes. Why are you crying? Because I was worried about you, silly. She was really so worried she'd cry? Why? I am intensely aware of the awkwardness of the situation. Thank you for worrying about me. I had thought the words might do something to ease her worries, but her sobbing only grows louder. Anise! I'll get you something warm to drink. I stare off after Anise before I turn to look at Delora worriedly. Did I say the wrong thing? Quite the opposite, actually. You made her very happy. I did, but she was crying. They're called tears of joy, Princess. I'd be overwhelmed too if you were suddenly nice to me. Miracles tend to bring people to tears. I just said thank you. And that was a kindness in and of itself. No wonder she's so happy. I was being kind? And congratulations, Princess. I see that you've managed to complete your first good deed. My hand moves instinctively to my pendant. I clutch at the new piece that hangs there. I knew you could do it. Dolores smiles warmly. For some reason, it makes me feel strangely proud. Parfait walks into the room, startling us both. It has been 2 weeks since I last saw her. Her face is ashen. Parfait! You know that continuously using your magic takes a toll on your body. I have no choice, the witches! Her voice trails off as her eyes meet Dolores. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, hit that thumbs up button down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!